All right, in this video, we're going to do example number 6 and put everything we just talked about all together at the same time. If we're given an equation, can we put it into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and pick out the two things that we need in order to graph it? The y-intercept, 0, comma b, and the slope to help us find other ordered pairs. Let's try it. In example number 6, it asks us to graph the following equations on the grid below and label, make sure that you have at least 3 points. So look at A with me. It says y equals negative 2/5 x minus 2. The first thing we want to do is make this look like slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. It looks like this one's already done for us. I can look at this equation and figure out that the y-intercept is the point 0, comma negative 2, and my slope is negative 2/5 because it's already in slope-intercept form. So step number 1's already done for us. Now that we have that, we have the two things that we need in order to graph it. We can graph the y-intercept, and then we can use our slope to find other points on our line. Let's do that. I know that my y-intercept is the point 0, negative 2. So I'm going to go down on the y-axis and put a dot at negative 2. I'm then going to use my slope of negative 2/5 to find other points on my line. Now, if you remember from fractions, we can put the negative in my numerator or the negative in my denominator, and it would give us the same thing. Let's do both ways so you can see. If I said that the slope was negative 2 over 5, from my y-intercept, that would mean I would move down 2 and right 5, down 2 and right 5. So it would look something like that and follow that pattern. Or I can go up 2 and left 5. Let's try it. From that y-intercept, if I went up 2 and right 5, no, excuse me, left 5, up 2 and left 5, my next ordered pair would be there. And doesn't it follow the same pattern? And so it doesn't matter if you put the negative in the numerator or the negative in the denominator, it would be the same thing. Now I can connect the dots. Well, I didn't do a very good job, but you know what I mean. You can connect the dots with a straight line, and then you can see that my linear equation looks something like that. I have a y-intercept of negative 2 and a negative 2/5 slope. Let's do another one. If we look at B here, all right, this one's going to be a little bit more work because it doesn't quite look like slope-intercept form. They didn't do step number 1 for us. We've got to do it this time. The first thing we want to do is we want to get it to look like slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Let's solve for y so we can pick out the slope and the y-intercept so we can use it to graph. The first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and move the 8x over to the other side by adding it. The negative 8x, the positive 8x reduce each other. I end up with an equation of 4y equals 8x plus 12. I'm going to get the y by itself by dividing every term by 4. And then let's go ahead and reduce. I ended up with an equation then of y equals 2x plus 3. Doesn't that look like slope-intercept form? So what's the y-intercept? Yeah, 0, comma 3. And what's the slope? Can we say 2 or 2 over 1 if that works? Okay, using those two things, we should now be able to graph it. So let's first graph the y-intercept, 0, comma 3. Then let's use our slope of 2, or 2 over 1, so that I can find other points on my line. If the slope is 2, or 2 over 1, that means I'm going to go up 2 and right 1, up 2 and right 1. Or could I go negative, negative? Because those two negatives make a positive, right? I can go down 2 and left 1, and I would still be on that same line. I can connect my dots, draw my arrows, and then I know that the line looks like this. I'd like you to make sure that you graph at least 3 points so you can figure out what the pattern is, and then draw a nice, big, long, straight line through all of your points so we can clearly see your graph. Just to double check, we have a positive 2 slope and a positive 3 y-intercept, and so my graph looks pretty good. All right, make sure that you can put your equations into slope-intercept form, identify the y-intercept and the slope, and use them to graph any sort of linear equation.